Welcome to F-Bomb Friday. I am your host, Tracy Preston, along with my husband, Todd. Hey, hon.
Hey, baby.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's hit it. There are some legends that begin with screams. This one began with silence. A freight train moved through Hastings, Michigan in the early hours of 1940. Not fast, not slow, just steady. Its wheels carried coal, lumber, iron, and one crate that should not have existed. No one recorded what was in it. No one claimed it. No one remembered loading it. But when it fell from the train, it did not break open. It landed as though it had been set down. Michigan doesn't just hold history, it keeps it. In its rivers, in its forests, in the rusted bones of rail lines and forgotten buildings that still remember the people who never left. Here, legends don't fade. They rot slowly into the land. Today's episode of F-Bomb Friday isn't about a monster. It's about a mistake. A name whispered too often. A crate that should have stayed closed. And a thing that the state of Michigan tried very hard to pretend was never real. Some call him an escaped patient. Some a mutant. Some call him a demon. But in the fields, in the trees, and in dark spaces between unofficial records, he is only known as Yellow Mike. And once you hear what happened, you'll understand why Michigan still refuses to say his name out loud. The crate was discovered at first light by a man named Mike. The wood was old. The nails were bent inward, not outward, as though the crate had once been sealed from inside. Mike was never supposed to find the crate. He wasn't a hunter. He wasn't even brave. Just curious. A seasonal dock worker near the riverbanks outside Hastings, Michigan. The kind of man who poked at things that didn't belong to him simply because no one told him not to. The crate rested in a patch of mud near an abandoned rail spur. Military-grade wood, iron clasps, no paperwork, no explanation. Only one simple marking. The word caution in bold letters. Mike pried the lid of the crate best he could, only able to move it just a little. First came the smell. Not rot, not blood. Something closer to wet earth and old straw. "Oh, God," Mike exclaimed. Something was breathing. Mike lit a match to help him see in the dark box. Inside was air. Yellow hair. The match light shook. The flame bent. And the thing inside opened its eyes. The thing did not appear to be fully human, but not fully animal either. Skin stretched thin and jaundiced, eyes reflective, limbs bent at strange angles. Its mouth opened, but no language came out. Only sound. Wet, broken, almost apologetic. Mike, he ran, and he told 3 people, but only 2 believed him. By the time authorities arrived, not police, not doctors, but men in unmarked vehicles, the thing was already moving into the woods. They tracked it down, and when they finally captured him, witnesses said he didn't fight. He only watched. The report would later describe him as, quote, a disfigured male subject suffering from severe congenital abnormalities and extreme psychological regression. But locals would remember something different. He walked upright as a man, observing, as if mimicking behavior he saw, like he was trying to learn. He was transported to a state psychiatric facility under sealed documentation, given the name Yellow Mike, combining the color of his hair with the name of the man who found him. Now, no public intake records exist. No patient file can be found. No burial record either. Yellow Mike's behavior was peculiar. His steps mirrored the last person he watched. If the person limped, he limped. If they slowed, he slowed. If they stopped breathing too loudly, well, he changed his breathing to match. He never directly looked at faces. He looked at throats. And he did not blink. The Hastings Asylum had already learned how to hold broken things, and Yellow Mike was placed in a locked room and recorded as a feral man with extreme psychosis. But some records contradict themselves. Some notes say he reacted to touch. Some say he refused to eat. Some say he slept while standing. Some say he never slept at all. Now, the fire at the asylum happened only a short few weeks after Yellow Mike was admitted. The fire began in the West Wing, officially. Unofficially, no one agrees with how the fire began, only that it spread too fast. Only that smoke filled the halls before alarms were raised. Only that some doors were found open that should not have been. They counted bodies. They counted survivors. They counted patients. Yellow Mike, well, was not accounted for. No one saw him leave. No one found him inside. The asylum became a hollow shell by morning. What remained after the fire were fragments. Found pages burned at the edges, ink smeared by water and soot. One page read, quote, "It watches when it thinks it's alone. It presses its face to the door when it hears footsteps. It mimics breathing. I believe it understands fear." And another page, "It does not look at itself in mirrors. It looks at places where reflections should be." And last, it's not trying to escape. It's waiting. Days later, only 3 miles away, cattle were found torn open in a field. Not eaten, opened. bones broken but not scattered, the ground torn into spirals, yellow hair woven into the grass. And just days after that, at the Devil's Soup Bowl, which is a unique glacial kettle depression and popular hiking spot near Gun Lake, a young couple were found dead. Their injuries matched nothing known. The ground showed that they tried to run in opposite directions. Yellow hair was found on the ground and underneath the teenage boy's fingernails. A hunt followed. Not a search, a hunt. Men moved through the woods with guns, fear, and the belief that killing something would return order. They split up. They fired at movement, but they did not return together. In all, 19 were found dead. Some standing, some seated, some kneeling, arranged, as if Yellow Mike had tried to remember how people rested. One survivor refused to describe the face. He only said, quote, "It learned how we moved." They buried the dead on Graves Hill. They stacked stones instead of markers. Then they left quickly. And later, people said yellow-haired appeared between the rocks, not as if it had fallen, but placed intentionally. After that, the killings continued. Livestock, dogs, chickens, but always the same hair, always too long, always yellow. Some believed Yellow Mike followed the seasons. Some believed he followed memory. Some believe he followed sound. Some believed he followed loneliness. Now there are theories. There are always theories. Some believe he was human once, born with abnormalities, hidden, abandoned, sold, or transported like property. Some believed he was a mutation, the result of industrial chemicals, radiation, or environmental collapse that reshaped a body, but not its awareness. Some believed he was an experiment, something created, studied, and then quickly discarded when it no longer served the purpose. Some believed he possibly had a birth defect, not a creature at all, but a condition. Some believed he was an entity that used flesh in the way that fire uses wood. Even now, people walking near Yankee Springs describe the same sensations, the feeling of being studied, the sense that something was mimicking your breathing, the sound of something copying your footsteps, but only a moment too late. People find yellow strands of hair on tent fabric, tree bark, and on their clothing. But no one ever finds tracks. Only disturbances. Only places where the ground looks like it has remembered weight. Some believe Yellow Mike does not hunt. They believe he rehearses. He studies posture, stillness, reaction, that he is learning how to be human without ever becoming one, that he is practicing. Some believe Yellow Mike never left the asylum, that he burned, that what followed was not him, that something else came out, that the fire did not release him. it replaced him. Maybe Yellow Mike is not a monster. Maybe he is what happens when something is forced to watch humanity long enough to understand it without ever belonging to it. Maybe he learned about our hunger, our violence, our fear, our shape. And maybe somewhere in Michigan's forests, he is still standing just outside the range of certainty, still practicing breath, still remembering posture, still waiting. And so the trails went quiet again. But silence in Michigan has never meant safety, because long after the blood dried, long after authorities stopped looking, long after the locals learned not to talk too loudly, people still say they saw something moving in the tree line, the shape too tall, too wrong, too yellow, skin the color of sickness and old moonlight, eyes reflecting, not with fear, but memory. Some swear Yellow Mike died. Others insist he escaped. A few believe he was never truly alive to begin with. Was he a man? A beast? A mistake that learned how to walk? No one knows. But in the backwoods of Michigan, when the wind bends the grass just right, when livestock refuses to sleep, when children wake from dreams they cannot explain, they still whisper his name, not as a warning, but as a reminder that some legends don't end. They just wait. And somewhere in the dark woods, something may still be listening, watching, and learning. Well, I gotta tell you, hon, I never heard of Yellow Mike before, and he's frightening.
He is terrifying, and I never heard of Yellow Mike before either. He is not a very well-known legend. It's very locale, so it's pretty much, this story is isolated to the Hastings area. Really, the only people that know about this story and talk about it are the local people. So crazy, goes all the way back to 1940, and I can just envision this happening. And it kind of reminds me of something that could have been like an X-Men comic book story, you know, the origins. Could Yellow Mike possibly have been a governmental experiment gone wrong? Something where they were trying to make like an ultimate soldier, and it got foiled somehow and didn't work right, so essentially he was just discarded. Was he some kind of birth defect? Circus freak, bounced around, you know? I mean, it kind of makes you feel bad for the guy, you know? When they finally caught him, he pretty much surrendered himself. And I think maybe because he thought for once he was finally going to get taken care of. But essentially he went from one box to another. They put him in a cage. They just studied him. He didn't have the human interaction that he probably needed.
I'm going with a government experiment because one of the things that sticks out to me is that he doesn't eat. So if you don't eat, how do you survive?
Right.
And he's watching, maybe not really human, because anything that's a living organic creature has to have food.
Right.
He doesn't eat, he doesn't drink. He watches, he learns. Maybe it's some kind of an creation from alien material.
Could be. Could be. And I'm glad you brought that point up where, he's obviously trying to learn. He's watching, he's mimicking movements, breaths. He goes on this killing spree. Is this something that he witnessed also? The violence of humans.
Maybe he was supposed to kill.
Right.
Right? Learn how to kill. Because like you mentioned in the story, he slaughtered all these cows, but he didn't eat them.
Right.
So it was kind of like he was learning how to tear them apart.
Right.
Intriguing.
Yeah. And then the people that hunted him down that ended up dying, these people that went on this pitchfork hunt for him, and he ends up killing most of them, and then he arranges their bodies like he's trying to recreate what it would be like for the humans to be in a resting position, almost like a undeveloped thought of what he had just done.
It's almost like a child.
Right.
Right? They just watch and learn and watch and learn. So I'm sticking with, I think he's an experiment put together with some alien DNA.
Right. And who knows, is he still out there? That they never discovered a body. A lot of people think that he died in the fire, but nobody found his remains. Nobody saw him come out. Obviously, within days of this fire at the insane asylum, these horrible, tragic incidents happened with cattle, with the couple at the Devil's Soup Bowl. And then from there on out, there was continuing situations where animals were being slaughtered. And further on south, that's why they think that maybe he's seasonal. He doesn't like the cold, maybe, so he heads south for the winter, because there's been claims that he's made it as far south as Tennessee.
Well, that wasn't in the story.
That wasn't in the story. That was omitted for
conversational reasons.
For conversational reasons, but yes. So yeah, he didn't stay in one place. So
maybe he can shapeshift a little bit.
That's very possible.
Maybe he's indestructible.
And with the color of yellow and him being in nature, I would say he's probably got a little bit of camouflage to him, especially tall grass or lots of different vegetation. He could probably blend in a little bit better than somebody with...
Well, maybe it's one of his superpowers, right? The yellow hair, the yellow eyes, the pale skin.
Yeah.
Right, so he can camouflage in anything he wants.
Right.
Maybe he doesn't have a reflection either. Right. Because he never looked in the mirror. Maybe there was nothing there.
Yeah, there was definitely something about reflections. He did not like to look into the mirror or anything that reflected his own image. And he would often look at things thinking that he should see something there. Like he was focused on something that nobody else would see.
Right. Well, and like you mentioned, and I think everybody needs to check out the TikTok video I'm going to make for this. So check it out on TikTok, because Todd's artwork is stellar for Yellow Mike, and he could absolutely be a character in a movie.
Certainly.
A movie all about Yellow Mike.
Yeah, Hollywood, if you're listening, hit me up.
Hello.
We'll work together on this one.
We'll make time. We'll make time for you. Well, all I got to say is the guy, Mike, who opened the crate, he's got a big sack.
Yeah.
I wouldn't open it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I would.
He was described as not a particularly brave person, but I would think...
ignorance is bliss. That's what I'm going to say.
Right.
Because I'll tell you what, like once I open it and I'm like, ooh, it's really dark.
Yeah.
I'm not lighting nothing so I can see. Yeah. No, put the lid on and get the F out of Dodge.
Right.
And then he hears something breathing. No, thank you.
Yeah. Well, he took off running after that, so his bravery went right out the window.
Yeah, he should have.
But he told enough people, some didn't believe him, but enough of them did, to where it was investigated after that. So.
Yeah, and comes the dark cars.
Yeah, here comes the dark cars.
So there, that tells me right there it was a government project.
Yeah.
Yellow Mike.
An experiment gone wrong.
They probably gave him a number.
Yeah, he was probably a number.
00001.
Yeah. And that might have been why he surrendered so easily, too, because he'd been through this before.
Well, and I'm sure they have some form of
PTSD.
Torture.
Oh, yeah.
He knows if he doesn't lay down, he's going to get zapped with something or...
Obey or get the rod.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Well, great story, hon. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. You know, it was really fun to write. It was really fun to investigate this one and dig into a story that's not well known. Those are my favorite, the ones that are so obscure that not a whole lot of people have heard about them before. So it was a good one. It was a good one. Gold digging.
And that's right. Gold digging for Yellow Mike.
Yep.
And that's what's so great about F-Bomb. Because we do stories that not everybody is out there talking about. So I bet they will now.
They will now.
Good old Yellow Mike.
Yellow Mike is here to stay.
All right. Well, do you want to sign us out, hon?
I sure do. You better lock your doors. You better lock your windows. And you might want to check under your bed.
And if I see that yellow Mike under there, I can't offer him any food because he doesn't eat. He doesn't eat.
He doesn't eat.
Maybe I'll just show him a mirror.
Oh, yeah. Maybe just put some mirrors down there and underneath the bed.
A skirt of mirrors.
Yep. There you go.
That's what you get, Mike. All right. Well, thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. And we will see you on Malice Monday for part 2 of Shadows in Macomb County.
That's right. We'll see you then.
Adios.
Adios, amigos.